Senator Mark Conway.
Senator Keane agus Comhairle agus tá fáilte an taras shock, and I have to say I think it is wholly appropriate that Sinn Féin would use their private members' time to highlight this issue, and I commend them for doing so. And I'll tell you, no government is above criticism, and certainly this government isn't above criticism. And no matter what's done in terms of job creation, an awful lot more should be done, because it is the #1 issue in this country. And I know that the Minister is keenly aware, because he comes from an area of the country that has suffered enormously from immigration. And perhaps it may not have been mentioned in his speech, but I know that emotionally and wholeheartedly he has seen the suffering that immigration has caused right down along the west coast from Donegal to County Clare. And like, I was at a conference this morning in Croke Park where I was speaking, and the issue about unemployment within various minority groups, such as people with disabilities, is quite remarkably high. And we are certainly above the European average when it comes to that. It would be remiss of me not to acknowledge the presence of Clare Comhairle and Og in the public gallery. Young people who have their future ahead of them and who are deeply concerned about the debate we're having today in terms of employment and the job opportunities that hopefully will be there. I want to commend the government for at least taking a micromanagement approach to trying to resolve this horrific issue. We have a situation where we have an action plan for jobs that has initiatives that are fine-tuned, fine-combed, and very much determined by the requirements of creating jobs. It is reviewed on a 3-month basis. There is a new jobs initiative launched each year, and it has had tangible success. I want to commend Minister Bruton for leading many trade delegations to various parts of the world, particularly the United States, which has resulted in some significant job announcements. I'd like to commend the tourism industry in particular, which has probably borne the brunt of some of the harshest job losses in recent times. We are seeing green shoots. We've had the Gathering, which is probably one of the most phenomenal tourism initiatives ever engaged in this country, which had a buy-in of all stakeholders, not just the tourism industry, but the local authorities and the government. It was a very focused and determined marketing drive that has resulted in hundreds of thousands of extra people visiting this country. And we see every week so far for the last number of months major international conferences held in Dublin. And I want to commend my colleague, Senator Keane, for initiating one of those international conferences which took place in Dublin Castle last weekend, where there were hundreds of people from all over Europe attending a conference that certainly has made very interesting recommendations. That's the type of thing that creates jobs. It is on the ground micromanaging a situation. I believe that we do need to see enterprise and employment and business nurtured. We need to see the stranglehold of red tape which exists in this country certainly dealt with. We need to see a situation where the banks are more flexible towards business. I know that the government behind the scenes are doing an awful lot in collaboration with banks and the central bank to ensure that funds are being released to facilitate the creation of jobs through funding small business.
Senator, the time is now.
Just before I conclude, Comhairle, there is a lot happening, and I would suggest to this House that we have a role to play when it comes to job creation, and that as a rolling debate once every couple of months, we should put time aside in this House for ideas that will ultimately create jobs.
And I'd like to welcome the group from Clare. Very welcome indeed, and delighted.